Inside the grandiose chandelier-lit hall of Senator Bradford's mansion, Hazel Collins maneuvered seamlessly through the crowd, the polished parquet floor glistening under her well-worn sneakers. She cut a stark contrast to the chicly dressed guests swirling around, all animated with laughter and clinking glasses. Hazel, in her simple uniform, moved quietly, her presence unnoticeable to the elite but essential to the event's smooth operation. Hazel had been working as a diner server for years, and stepping into such opulent surroundings always reminded her of the life she once aspired to. But tonight, she was focused on her job, carefully delivering trays of delicate hors d'oeuvres to long tables adorned with exotic flowers and exquisite china. The grandeur was intimidating yet mesmerizing, a world she could only touch through labor. As she passed a conversation circle where the influential congregated, an undercurrent of tension abruptly rippled. A sharp voice cut through the reverie. "Stop her. She's the one." Senator Bradford's voice boomed, eyes locked onto Hazel with accusatory fierceness. "A high-tech listening device is missing. She must have taken it." Shocked murmurs broke out among the guests, and Hazel felt the accusatory weight of their gazes. Her cheeks flushed with mortification. She stammered, "I didn't. I have nothing." The senator approached, brandishing his authority like a weapon. "You don't belong here, and certainly not with our confidential information at stake." The humiliation sank deeper as others chimed in with harsh whispers and nods of agreement. An organizer stepped forward to usher Hazel away, her heart heavy with disgrace. Though innocence echoed within her, the scene closed in relentlessly, and she exited the mansion, her spirit shaken, but a flicker of determination undimmed in her core. Back in her modest apartment, Hazel Collins sank into the worn-out couch, her mind replaying the events of the evening like a haunting melody she couldn't escape. The opulence and sophistication she had glimpsed were now replaced by the dull hum of the refrigerator and the distant sounds of traffic filtering through a cracked window. The accusations had felt suffocating, piercing her composure with such force that she could almost feel the disdain echoing in her tiny living space. Her appetite, dulled by the embarrassment and anxiety looming over her, had faded completely. The untouched takeout containers littered the kitchen counter, reminders of her depleted energy to even consider eating. Sleep eluded her, and her reflection in the bathroom mirror was marked by the dark crescents under her eyes, a silent testament to her restless nights. The phone on the table buzzed softly, but Hazel reached over and switched it to silent. She couldn't bear the thought of explaining her predicament to her well-meaning friends. Her job at the diner, her only source of stability, was now overshadowed by the looming threat of losing it if Senator Bradford's accusations spread. She had worked so diligently to build even this fragile semblance of normalcy, and the thought of it crumbling left her feeling unbearably vulnerable. Emotional upheaval took hold as her mind wandered to the past, a journey she rarely allowed herself. Years ago, Hazel had walked the aisles of a prestigious university, filled with the vibrancy of potential and dreams. A first-year finance student, she excelled in her courses, driven by both passion and the promise of a brighter future. But life had a way of interrupting such dreams abruptly. Her mother fell ill unexpectedly, her once vibrant spirit diminished by an aggressive illness that demanded constant care. Hazel had left her studies, the textbooks replaced with doctor's appointments and long nights in hospital corridors. The transition was unsettling, the aspirations she harbored folding neatly into the back of her mind, second to responsibilities she hadn't anticipated but accepted with a full heart. Those years had drained her savings and tested her resilience but had also woven an unbreakable bond between her and her mother. Her mother's passing had been another cruel reality she faced alone, a chapter closed without any warning, leaving Hazel in an abyss of both loss and the necessity to rebuild. She took job after job, anything available to keep herself grounded and ensure she could stand on her own 2 feet while she quietly mourned the life pushed into little more than distant memory. The diner job, though not prestigious, had been a lifeline. Not merely a means to pay bills, it had been a sign of stability, an environment where her quiet dedication was appreciated, if not understood. Her manager recognized her reliability, and she took pride in the small camaraderie she found with regulars who came for meals and occasionally shared stories of their lives. That semblance of normalcy felt shattered now. The fundraiser was an opportunity she hoped could lead to better things, her dreams having shifted from academia to steady footing in service. Despite her cautious nature, she harbored secret aspirations of managing events, an idea tracing back to the vibrant banquets she once imagined planning. Gazing out the window, eyes following the patterns of headlights sweeping across walls, Hazel felt the pressure mounting. Her emotions were a reflection of disbelief twisted with injustice. The unfairness of the situation gnawed at her, as did the deep-rooted desire to clear her name. Among such rarefied company, she was looked upon as someone they thought was beneath suspicion purely for her role, one assumed to be guilty simply due to her unremarkable presence among them. Those memories of who she was, bright-eyed, bold with ambition, burned remorselessly alongside who she had been forced to become, quieter, shadowed by circumstance but still intensely committed to moving forward. From her corner of solitude, feeling the mix of frustration and resilience stir again, Hazel leaned forward, glancing at the small array of family photographs crowding her shelves. Her mother's smiling face beamed with a timeless truth she usually reached for in moments of doubt. "My Hazel, you will do wonders. Who you are inside counts far more than what's outside." Despite the heaviness, her mother's optimism spurred glimmers of hope. The way forward felt opaque, but Hazel firmed a silent promise to unearth the truth. She had always battled silently, this time would be no different. The hours of the night ticked away in reflection, each movement filled with the slow emergence of resolve, until the earliest signs of dawn peeked timidly over city rooftops. The lights signaled a coming day, one which brought new strength. She would find a way to prove her integrity, relying on more than just hope. Hazel turned away from self-pity, the bite of the previous night's sharp judgment spurring stubborn courage. She pulled on her shoes, neatly tied those laces, a routine as familiar as breathing, and ventured forth into the world, head lifted just a fraction higher than it had been before. Though uncertain of the path directly ahead, what remained certain was her spirit to never let untruth have the final say, no matter the challenge laid bare before her. With the fragmented pieces of her past urging persistence, Hazel steeled herself against adversity's shadow, preparing to confront what lay next with the steadfast ardor reminiscent of her deeper core. Days passed, and though Hazel's resolve grew steadily firmer, each moment was punctuated by the impossibility of her situation. Her early mornings normally started with a quiet ritual, brewing coffee and listening to the world awaken outside her window. But recently, those moments were consumed with a gnawing sense of urgency, an impatience to clear her name that no amount of routine comfort could quiet. It was during one of these still mornings, as sunlight fractured through the blinds in thin slats, that Hazel suddenly recalled a crucial detail. Her tired eyes widened with realization. The missing listening device at the center of her accusation bore a brand logo. This detail, previously buried under layers of worry and exhaustion, resurfaced clearly and vividly. The logo was familiar, she had seen it elsewhere. Not on clandestine spy equipment, but among tools she'd noticed while working in venues supported by local security firms. With clarity cutting through her fog of distress, Hazel determined her course of action. She hastily dressed, leaving her modest apartment with renewed vigor. Her first destination was familiar yet daunting, the diner. She approached cautiously, wanting to stay outside the radar while surreptitiously approaching the manager with her newfound insight. "Listen, I need to talk about something that might clear this mess up," Hazel said, leaning across the counter where Richard, the manager, stood reviewing order slips. Despite her calm tone, urgency glimmered in her eyes. Richard looked up, eyebrows raised but interest piqued. Her reputation as a diligent worker compelled him to give her the benefit of conversation. "What's on your mind, Hazel? You still worried about that night?" She nodded vigorously, describing the logo as best as she remembered it. Though his skepticism was evident, she persisted, explaining her suspicion about the device and its origin. Yet, Richard remained non-committal, bound by policy and personal caution. "Don't get into trouble for this," Hazel. You know how people are. Just look out for yourself, okay? He said, his voice conciliatory rather than encouraging. Though disappointed, Hazel left, her determination galvanized by the need to act alone using the insights she had pieced together. Her next plan took her to the heart of the city's security network, the very firm often employed by locations like Bradford's mansion for their security systems. She needed help from someone there who clearly understood the significance of the device. Walking through the busy streets, Hazel found herself outside the security company's glass door entrance. Taking a deep breath, she pushed inside the bustling office, sidling up quickly to Thomas, a security guard she'd met briefly once at a similar event, a sharp young man with a penchant for curiosity over status. I was wondering if you could help me, Hazel began, glancing around nervously. There's something I'm trying to piece together about that fundraiser, specifically about the device they thought I had. Thomas nodded, his interest piqued by the quiet insistence in her voice. Showing her around to his workspace discreetly, he listened as Hazel explained her situation. Drawing upon their system's reference guides, he matched her description to a specific piece of equipment, one reserved for high-security environments but misused often due to its cost. I can help you figure this out, Thomas finally said after studying the records. If this was ours, it'd be easy to trace, but if someone hid it, maybe there's more footage. Unearthing evidence demanded both discretion and courage. With Thomas's unofficial support, Hazel accessed pertinent footage hidden among hours of event recordings. Their painstaking endeavor cut through layers, focused, and sought the truth underlying accusations through a process few dared brave alone. Amidst the digital archives, an unexpected breakthrough arrived. A video clip captured the senator adjusting his coat near the vase conspicuously moments before demanding Hazel's expulsion. As she and Thomas reviewed the video, the nuance of his movements suggested not discovery, but rather contrived distraction. Their collective breath expelled slowly. Hazel felt elation brightening within her chest, the vindication validating that night's tangled, daunting reality. She expressed gratitude towards Thomas manyfold, acknowledging his sacrifice of risk for her truth. But the digital mosaic expanded further. Intent on final clarity, Hazel reached into social media's vast footprint, where guests' ubiquitous interactions held potential answers. She scanned multimodal layouts, poised mid-scroll through myriad posts capturing snaps, fervently shared titillating tidbits from that fateful night. As the looped footage played endlessly on her mobile, a post emerged that forced Hazel's attention. The content revealed a previously unnoticed sequence where Senator Bradford, caught in the backdrop, slips his hand inside his coat pocket immediately after standing near the now infamous vase. His face, blurred by focus, revealed concealed tension. Holding her breath, Hazel recognized the irrefutable evidence denying wrongdoing but implicating duplicity. With mounting conviction, Hazel understood she possessed keys essential to unlocking her future, traversing past constructed falsehoods. Weaving echoes of palpable reassurance, the footage and lively banquets, ambience lively, quivered as unfound truths lingered unseen beneath artifice and decorum. The scattered jigsaw of her incident firmly settled into coherent revelation. Armed with truth undeniably displayed, Hazel nurtured a rising swell of vindication carrying her through remaining hesitations. Committing unyielding loyalty amid tumultuous trials, her eyes danced across the silent specter of possibility and the accelerating momentum of renewed hope. The next day dawned with an air thick with anticipation, stirring within Hazel an undeniable resolve to confront the accusations head-on. Equipped with irrefutable evidence, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Armed with her findings, she resolved to clear her name by going public where it mattered most, right in the heart of those who had wronged her. This resolve led her back to Senator Bradford's mansion, where another event was scheduled, an elegant luncheon to discuss key political initiatives. The event buzzed with activity, the guests' chatter and laughter mingling with the clinking of crystal stemware. Hazel approached the entrance, determination fueling each step. She clutched her phone tightly, the evidence of her innocence resting securely within its digital confines. Slipping quietly inside, she navigated the familiar path among elegantly garbed attendees, her heart pacing with both nerves and a sharp focus. She searched for the perfect moment, rehearsing the words she'd practiced, knowing the weight of credibility rested upon her ability to make her truth heard. As Senator Bradford took to the podium to address the illustrious crowd, Hazel edged closer, her pulse quickening with the knowledge that the moment of truth had arrived. Clad in polished charisma, Bradford began speaking, his voice rich and commanding. The crowd was utterly enraptured by his presence. Gathering her courage, Hazel took a step forward, speaking in a steady but firm voice. "Excuse me, Senator," she interrupted, cutting through the air like a knife. The crowd's attention snapped towards her, the room falling into a sudden, curious silence. Faces turned, surprise registering as they recognized the very diner server branded wrongfully before. "I have something important to share. It concerns what happened at the fundraiser," Hazel continued, her voice imbued with both months' worth of emotional upheaval and newfound strength. The senator's brow furrowed with annoyance at first, but her unwavering gaze pressed upon him the seriousness of her intrusion. The room held collective breath, drawn by the unusual turn of events, every eye focusing sharply on Hazel. Swiftly, she connected her phone to the projector, dimming the lights with the press of a button. The room plunged momentarily into darkness as a flurry of whispers cascaded throughout. On the screen, the incriminating video footage began to play, the clip displaying Bradford's suspicious actions. He pocketed the device amidst the crowd's unwitting attention. Gasps erupted in waves from the audience, a palpable tension surging as the footage continued to unfold undeniable proof. The evidence of the senator's wrongdoing burned brightly, dismantling the lies that had hung over Hazel like a heavy shroud. The murmured shock quickly shifted towards Hazel's initial exoneration, mercurial fruits of speculation transforming into burgeoning belief. It was as if a collective consciousness arose, where judgment and pretense mingled in confusion. Those who had blindly accepted Bradford's version of events exchanged looks, the murmurs building as the footage played on. Within the disorienting hum of voices, Senator Bradford's usually controlled composure wavered visibly. He stammered amidst accusations fired back at him by the crowd, questions edged with disbelief and demands for explanations. Desperation gnawed at his practiced calm, the swift unraveling of his deceit playing out before an audience once enraptured by his rhetoric. As the fallout ensued, echoes of apologies directed towards Hazel emerged. Voices from attendees harmonized chastened sincerity over judgment passed too quickly. The stark contrast of her innocence painted starkly against the backdrop of elitist bias once held over the night's embodiment. Hazel remained poised, a calm amidst the swirling chaos, fortified by the truth now unveiled. Her courage inspired a resonating ripple of acknowledgement across the room, unraveling rigid facades and prejudgments with each passing moment as truth cut through the layers of social pomp and circumstance like a cleansing wind. Later, as footfalls started dispersing and the luncheon drew to an unexpected but monumental close, hazy light filtered back into the room. Hazel felt the weight lifting, the fortifying aura of justice surrounding her like a silent symphony underscored by the day's rapid unfolding. Guests, chastened and reflective, turned toward Hazel with newfound respect, seeds sown by the truth she had so doggedly pursued and displayed to a world that now witnessed both the frailty of falsely wielded authority and unfaltering resilience pitted against it. As the settlement of voices filled the cavernous hall, Hazel's determined resolve persisted, the undeterred core of her being ready for conversations brought to the forefront, discussions to be held, and futures reshaped by those who dared listen to the voice of courage and humility entwined. Finding herself amidst whispered gratitude and supportive nods, Hazel quietly left, her spirit luminous against the once oppressive walls. Stepping again into the world outside, she emerged victorious, not simply an exonerated server, but a beacon of integrity and defiance, a true embodiment of the dignity she cultivated deep within her quiet resolve. As the dust settled from the dramatic revelation within the mansion's walls, Senator Bradford found himself at the center of a tightening storm of repercussions. The once respected politician, renowned for his controlled demeanor and influential power, now faced a rapidly crumbling career. Media outlets picked up the story overnight, the scandal forming headlines that rippled through both public and private spheres with rapid intensity. The senator's desperate attempts to deflect blame only further fueled the outcry for accountability, demanding immediate investigation into his actions. For Hazel, the tide of justice swept in swiftly following the luncheon. Her once precarious position transformed as events played out in her favor. The proof she had presented not only exonerated her but highlighted her steadfast integrity and resilience under intense pressure. The journey from vilification to vindication marked a turning point in her life, driving her into a new realm of opportunities she had never anticipated. In the days following the revelation, Hazel was called to meet with the host's event organizer, whose earlier skepticism was now replaced by deep shame and remorse. She extended to Hazel a heartfelt apology, acknowledging the wrong done to her and offering a public acknowledgement of her innocence through multiple press releases detailing the event's true narrative. The ripple effects of the truth brightened Hazel's previously muted future. The diner, grateful to have their reliable server's reputation restored, apologized and offered her a promotion not only to recognize her determined spirit but to bind her renewed presence to their team. Hazel received another unexpected gesture from a philanthropist who had attended the luncheon, the offer of a scholarship to bolster her career path, an unforeseen chance to enhance her skills in hospitality management. Given the means to start anew, Hazel stood at a newfound crossroads with the ability to explore academic avenues long since set aside. It was a profound reminder that life, though unpredictable and often daunting, could revisit the aspirations she once held tightly close. As Senator Bradford faced escalating legal scrutiny, Hazel received a summons to meet with the same people whose accusations had led to her suffering. Their approach, once judgmental and detached, now softened by respect born of her perseverance. Embarrassment and regret were etched into their faces as they extended invitations for her to join discussions about proactive change, ensuring such injustices did not reoccur within their societal circles. One evening, beneath the warm glow cast by antique chandeliers at yet another event, this time in honor of transparency and truth, Hazel took the stage, her presence now welcomed wholeheartedly. Addressing an eclectic crowd that had swelled with admiration alongside curiosity, she shared insights born from her experience. "I know what it means to be invisible, to have your worth constantly overshadowed by perception," she spoke evenly, her voice clear and assured. "But every voice, every truth, matters profoundly. Today, your willingness to listen is a step towards fostering understanding." Her words resonated powerfully, dissolving the barriers sculpted by superficiality, leading to a genuine dialogue that awaited progress. People nodded thoughtfully, their expressions indicating the potential for engendering a change driven by empathy and educated discernment. Walking away from the podium amid positive affirmations, Hazel felt that layer of invisibility being stripped away, revealing her true self. She carried the weightfully lightened burden of survival in tandem with the growing momentum that underscored her journey, fortitude forged by standing unyielding amidst uncomfortable truths. Gratitude enveloped Hazel as she absorbed a fresh perspective, realizing that respect, once elusively pursued, had finally settled upon her shoulders, not obtained through wealth or power but through her unwavering dedication to justice. The fabric of her identity, woven anew, shimmered with vibrant possibility. Stepping beyond that elegant venue, the night air felt cool and refreshing as it filled her lungs with lingering hopefulness. Hazel walked forward with purpose, a distinctive light guiding her path, each step lifting the past's weight and embracing the promising horizon awaiting beyond the threshold of uncertainty. As doors opened widely before her, Hazel Collins emerged, not merely town's local diner server nor the falsely accused figure overshadowed by prejudice, but a woman defined by spirit's resilience, a beacon cultivated by raw truth and enduring strength. Her quiet dignity, no longer unnoticed, inspired those fortunate enough to cross her path. With each tale shared, her influence grew, weaving together narratives that shifted beautifully under her careful stewardship, encouraging others to trust their voices' worth amidst the chorus rising proudly around them. And as Hazel continued on her journey, the broader community embraced and recognized her, proving that, indeed, the once quiet, so-called invisible, among them held the profound ability to shape and uphold the very ideals of genuine respect and authenticity, a lesson eternally remembered by all who dared listen.